Hi, I'm Freya. Welcome back to another writing vlog. I wanted to share a quick little win. I woke up this morning to an email that my audiobook distributor had sent me a teeny tiny little payment. So that felt really good because it kind of, because returns on my regular books, I'm in debt to my distributor, so I haven't had a payment from them in a long time. But I got a teeny little bit of money for my writing today, so that felt really cool. Yeah, today I am working on chapter 15 of my third novel, High Quality Man. This was the chapter that last video I kind of hit a stumbling block on and didn't really know what I was doing with. And I had to have a conversation with my critique partner where he said to me, like, maybe you just need to add something new into the story. So hence the scene I'm currently working on writing. My character is visiting his parents. And one thing that's kind of hitting me as I'm writing this first draft is like, I'm not sure whether I'm making it sharp enough in the first draft. Like, I really want this novel to be really witty and kind of biting and kind of have elements of social commentary that are sharp and funny. That's the vibe I'm going for. But that's really hard to get right in a first draft, as I'm discovering, because you don't know where you're going with it yet. And like, I think some wit and funny writing is really hard, and it takes a lot of refining and rewriting, and that's something that in the first draft you don't necessarily always want to go back and rework everything because you want to get to the end. Like, the goal is to have a finished project, primarily. So that's something I'm trying to balance, and something that's I'm kind of, if I step outside of my writing and look at like how the scene's going, I'm feeling like it's lacking in that element. But I'm trying not to put my self-critical editing hat on too early and trying just to do the writing. But that is the struggle of the day. So yeah, lock in, I guess, and we will write 1,000 words, and I will put my little John Wick candle on. Okay, so I'll meet you in the next clip. Okay, friends, so this is the current state of John Wick the candle. As you can see here, we have 2 little teeth and almost a third in his little face. And we're getting quite, well, halfway down to the bottom. I've never had a candle like this before, so I don't know what happens when you reach the bottom, whether it keeps burning or what. But anyway, that is the John Wick update. Okay, John Wick is burning. As you can see, he ate 2 matches today before I got him lit, but there we go. Document is open and target is there. Oh, there. So yes, here we go. Okay, just like that, we are ready to blow out John Wick, who has developed a 3rd hole, as you can see there. Okay. Oh, wow. Do you see that overflow? My God. Okay, that is today's writing session done and dusted. I finished chapter 15 and I started a little bit of chapter 16. Yeah, I feel like a little better than I did at the start of the session with regards to how sharp everything was. But I guess that is normal, that kind of fluctuates throughout the process. And some days I'm writing a scene that I feel is funny and witty and punchy in the right way that I want it to be. And some days you just have a scene that is less so you kind of go into this mini spiral about whether what you're writing is actually working, but it's far too soon to know that with a first draft, so I just need to keep reminding myself of that. Yeah, I will see you in my next writing session. Okay, bye for now. Hi, welcome back to Saturday. I was about to say Sunday just then, but it is Saturday. Today is a lovely day, but the pollen be pollening, and something about that kind of, sinusy, mucusy goodness that just it brings up in me is not really conducive with writing. It's like I feel kind of pseudo sick, so it's hard to get started. And I've been sitting here for like the last few minutes trying to make my hair sit in a way that didn't look atrocious. I did brush it, I swear. It'd be frizzy. Anyway, those things aside, I am in chapter 16. And I was talking to my dad just before I started this recording. And he was like, oh yeah, like you'll get to 36,000 words today. And I was kind of like, oh, will I? And he's like, you always have no confidence in the fact that you're going to get to, the word count. And then you do it. Like you never feel like you're going to get there. You never feel like you're going to start. And then you just knuckle down and do it. So maybe some part of this clip is talking myself into the process of writing. So thank you for being my silent accountability to that. Yeah, I'm at a point in the story where I need to kind of write another kind of reversal of fate, fortune. So my character's life has gotten a bit more back on track, but I need him to kind of unravel things a bit now. I'm not sure how to make that happen because, like, the ground rules of what's happening are established. His problems are established. Like, I don't know how to introduce a new element or, like, up the stakes in a way. So I'm kind of just, like, I'm writing this scene at his work in this chapter, and I kind of need something to happen to make his life start to unravel, like a catalyst or like something getting worse. But I'm not sure how to write that because I'm not sure what it is. So this is the kind of eternal problem of not plotting books. You kind of have to stumble in the dark until you find what you're writing. So this is me stumbling in the dark today. But yeah, I am going to pull myself together, pull all my fortitude together and light the candle and get started and see what I can come up with. More updates to follow. So for those of you keeping track, John Wick brutalized 4 matches in my quest to get the candle lit today. Just thought I'd give you that tidbit. Okay, that is the writing session done. I think the thing that really stood out to me today was how, like, angry writing this scene was making me. Like, I set out, I think you should write books about things that are important to you, right? So I set out to write this book about a type of man I really don't like, and an attitude to women I really don't like. And it's kind of in that toxic masculine podcast bro space. That's the type of character I'm writing about. And like putting those words together in that way, like stringing things he says together, today was just really like, it makes me a little sad and a little angry to think that like people are, like these people exist. They're out there spewing this on the internet, and you don't have to look hard to find them. And I think that that was what really stood out to me about this writing session. I mean, the good thing about writing in this way is that because you're writing from something that does exist and something that, you know, can concretely be studied, it kind of flows really easily, and you don't have to reach very far to find the dialogue. You don't have to reach very far to like find the ideas to write about. But yeah, I feel I almost need to detox from it now, and like take a step away. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll see you in the next clip. Okay, welcome to Monday afternoon. I have been trying to kind of work myself into the writing mood for the last few minutes. And I don't feel like totally blocked, but I feel pretty close to being that way. I guess one of the growing anxieties I've had since I got over the midpoint of this novel is like whether I'm going to be able to find an arc for the second half of the book, which sounds really kind of weird to be ruminating a lot because I know I'm a discovery writer. Like I know this writing myself in works for me, and I know I can do it. But this novel, from the very beginning, I was always like, oh, it's such a cool concept and I'm so into the idea, but is the idea big enough for a whole novel? Like I know it's good, like it would work for a short story. I know I can get it to a long short story, but can I get it to a novel? It's been the constant like thing that's been churning away in the back of my mind. And as I'm sitting here, I'm just kind of reflecting on where the book is and like how I get the next half of it written and what I kind of do with that, which in a way is kind of really counterproductive because I should just focus in on the scene that I'm currently in and just write that scene, and then find some way to get to the next scene and write that scene. Like I know I should take it step by step, but it's hard not to kind of zoom out and want to look at the big picture and how to balance your perspective, because like looking at it from a zoomed out vantage point before it's done is always going to feel anxiety inducing, because you're always going to be thinking like there's so much that isn't there, and that's going to be the case till you finish. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at today. We'll see if I get any words written in this session. It might be a total wash, but let's light the candle. Let's go through the motions. Let's see if we can get some words on paper. I'm terrified John Wick will one day be the reason I burn this house down, because look at that. Another 3 matches gone to the death of John Wick. Yeah, I'd say buy a copy of my book just to support John Wick's consumption of matches. I'm sort of still in shock about this, but we got there, and so now it's time to blow out John Wick. Okay. Ooh, smoky. Yeah, so as I just said, I'm completely in shock over how well that just went. I wasn't expecting it to be that easy, but it kind of just was one of those magical writing sessions where everything just happened and I didn't have to reach too hard for anything. I just kind of went with the flow. I did end, I think I was in chapter 16, and I think it's a little bit shorter than I'm aiming for with my chapters. I'm aiming for 2,000 words, and kind of usually it doesn't get more than 3,000, so it's somewhere in that range. I think I got to 1,800 and I was kind of like, this is a good point to end this scene, so I don't really think I want to write another scene in this chapter. I think I want to start a new chapter. So that's what I did, and I kind of have found 2 scenes that I think will work for this chapter. So I'm kind of in a good position where I know what's happening for the next tiny little bit of the story, and I can kind of just roll with that. And I got, I don't know, maybe like halfway through. Well, I did the setting up bits of the next scene. So you know how you have to write, like, this is what a lot of my scenes in this are kind of, the character thinks about what's going to happen, then it starts happening, and you write that starting with like a lot of location and like kind of just waiting, and I was starting to get into the conversation of note, and I kind of got to 1,000 words, and that's my cutoff point where I kind of stop writing, because 1,000 words per session normally takes me about an hour, and I find that that's a really good point where I'm not like straining myself and I'm not totally burnt out on the project the next time I come back to write it. So yeah, that is thoughts, and yeah, feeling good. So I'm gonna be real with you guys tonight. All I had to do to finish off this video was film an outro clip, and it has taken 3 full days for me to work up to doing that one little task of sitting down for 30 seconds and filming a clip. So much so that I really have no idea what went on in this video. I mean, I know I wrote, I know there's been 3,000 words added to the draft, but I don't know what I talked about. I don't have any reflections or any kind of way to draw this together nicely, so I'm sorry for that, and I will try and do better in the next video. But yeah, leave me a comment with your own writing fail of the week, because this is definitely mine. Not having a good, like, who knows what I'm going to title this video, who knows what I'm going to say in the description, because frankly I don't know what went on, and I don't tend to rewatch clips because I really hate looking at my face. So yeah, that is the reflections, but leave me a comment, let me know how things are. Okay, thanks for being here, bye.